At 70, Willie Robertson finally breaks the silence. After years of whispers and message board theories, the truth steps into the light, and it's not what most fans expected. The Duck Dynasty patriarch has addressed the long-standing rumors about what really happened behind the scenes of one of reality TV's biggest phenomena. Join us as we trace how we got here. But before we get to the truth, we have to go back to where it all began. Before any of the headlines, there was a kid with an entrepreneurial spirit growing up in the backwoods of Louisiana. Willie Robertson was born on April 22, 1972, in Bernice, Louisiana, a small town where family values and outdoor living weren't lifestyle choices. They were simply how life was lived. As the third son of Phil and Kay Robertson, Willie grew up in a household where hunting wasn't just a hobby. It was a way of life and eventually a livelihood. The Robertson family wasn't always the empire you know today. In the early days, Phil Robertson was crafting duck calls by hand in a small shed, perfecting what would later become the Duck Commander brand. Young Willie would watch his father meticulously shave down wood, listening as Phil tested each call, ensuring the sound would bring ducks in from miles around. Even as a child, Willie showed signs of the businessman he would become, observant, patient, and with an uncanny ability to see opportunity where others saw routine. His childhood wasn't defined by wealth or privilege. The Robertsons lived simply, sometimes struggling to make ends meet. But what they lacked in material possessions, they made up for in family bonds and a deep-rooted faith that would later become one of the cornerstones of their public image. Willie's mother, Kay, held the family together through difficult times, instilling values that would later resonate with millions of viewers across America. School days for Willie weren't marked by academic excellence, but rather by his charisma and natural leadership abilities. Classmates remember him as someone who could talk his way into, or out of, just about anything. This gift of gab would serve him well in later years, both in business negotiations and on camera. What many don't realize is that Willie's path wasn't always clearly marked. There were detours and experiments, like many young people experience. He attended college, tried different jobs, and searched for his place in the world. But there was always something pulling him back to the family business, a sense that he could take what his father had built and expand it beyond what anyone in the family had imagined. And that's exactly what he did. But here's the truth. The road from small family business to reality TV empire wasn't as straight or simple as it appeared on television. The Duck Commander business was doing well, but it was Willie's vision that transformed it from a modest duck call manufacturer into a multi-million-dollar enterprise. After earning a business degree, Willie returned to the family company with fresh ideas and ambitious plans. While Phil created the product and remained the heart of the operation, it was Willie who saw the potential for growth and modernization. Under Willie's guidance, Duck Commander expanded its product line, improved distribution, and embraced marketing strategies that his father might have scoffed at years earlier. The company grew steadily, building a loyal customer base among hunting enthusiasts, but it was still a niche market, far from the household name it would later become. Then, everything changed. The pivotal moment came when a hunting video featuring the Robertson family caught the attention of a television producer. The producer saw something special in this bearded family from Louisiana: authenticity in an increasingly artificial entertainment landscape. What began as a pitch for a hunting show evolved into something much bigger. A reality show centered around the entire Robertson family, their business, and their unique lifestyle. When Duck Dynasty premiered on A&E in March 2012, few could have predicted the cultural phenomenon it would become. The show was an immediate hit, drawing viewers who were charmed by the family's humor, faith, and seemingly uncomplicated approach to life. At the center of it all was Willie, the CEO, the level-headed businessman among a cast of colorful characters. The cameras portrayed Willie as the straight man to Uncle C's eccentric antics and his father Phil's backwoods philosopher persona. Alongside his wife Corey, he appeared as the modern face of the family, still connected to tradition but comfortable in the 21st century. This careful balance resonated with audiences, who saw in the Robertsons a reflection of values they cherished but rarely saw represented in popular media. But here's where it gets complicated. The Willie Robertson you saw on screen was both real and carefully crafted. The show, like all reality television, existed in that gray area between documentary and entertainment. On camera, it looked easy. Off camera? Not even close. The production of Duck Dynasty involved long shooting days, multiple takes, and the constant pressure of maintaining ratings. While the family's personalities were genuine, situations were often set up by producers to create the narrative arcs viewers expected from episodic television. Willie, perhaps more than any other family member, understood this dance between authenticity and entertainment. His business acumen extended to recognizing what made the show successful. The perfect blend of humor, heart, and just enough conflict to keep viewers engaged without alienating the family-friendly audience. What many fans didn't see was the meticulous work that went into maintaining the Duck Dynasty brand. Willie spent countless hours in meetings that had nothing to do with duck calls and everything to do with merchandise licensing, book deals, and public appearance schedules. Behind his casual demeanor was a shrewd businessman who transformed a family name into a lifestyle brand that extended far beyond hunting supplies. The beards that became the family's trademark were real, but they were also a brilliant marketing decision. They made the Robertsons instantly recognizable and merchandise-ready. What began as a practical choice for hunting season became a symbol that could be emblazoned on everything from T-shirts to coffee mugs. Willie's work ethic remained unmatched throughout the show's run. While cameras might capture him relaxing in the warehouse or joking with family members, his typical day started before filming and continued long after the crew packed up. The success of both the show and the expanding business empire required constant attention, and Willie shouldered much of that responsibility. Now, if you're wondering whether the family dynamics were real, here's what we know. The love between family members was genuine, the pranks and jokes often unscripted. But the narrative conflicts that drove each episode were frequently shaped by production needs rather than organic family disagreements. And that's when the whispers started. As Duck Dynasty's popularity soared, so did the rumors. Internet forums and social media buzzed with speculation about what life was really like for the Robertsons when cameras weren't rolling. Were they actually the down-home, faith-driven family portrayed on television? Or was it all an elaborate performance? Some claimed the family was nothing like their on-screen personas. There were posts suggesting the Robertson men only grew their iconic beards for the show, returning to clean-shaven lives when not filming. These rumors gained traction when pre-show photos of the family circulated online, showing a markedly different appearance, particularly for Willie's father Phil and brother Jace. Behind the cameras, the story was different. According to production insiders who spoke to media outlets, tensions occasionally flared between the family and network executives over content and portrayal. The Robertsons reportedly insisted on maintaining creative control over how their faith was depicted, sometimes leading to heated discussions about what would make it to air. Financial rumors swirled as well. As merchandise sales skyrocketed and the show broke viewership records, speculation about contract disputes became common. Reports suggested the family had leveraged their popularity to negotiate substantial raises, with some tabloids claiming they earned as much as $200,000 per episode in later seasons. A far cry from their first contract. Perhaps the most persistent rumors centered around the family's beliefs and values. When Phil Robertson gave a controversial interview to GQ magazine in 2013, expressing views that many found offensive, it sparked a public relations crisis that temporarily resulted in his suspension from the show. This incident led to widespread discussion about whether the family's televised image had been sanitized for mass consumption. Then there were the whispers about production manipulation, claims that the family's lifestyle was exaggerated for dramatic effect. Some former crew members reportedly suggested that certain aspects of the Robertsons' backwoods lifestyle were emphasized for the camera, while their considerable wealth and business sophistication were downplayed. As the show continued its successful run, these rumors neither disappeared nor were fully addressed. The family maintained a united front in public appearances, neither confirming nor explicitly denying most of the speculation that surrounded their television empire. Let's be clear about what's confirmed and what isn't. The truth about Duck Dynasty, like most reality television, lies somewhere between the perfectly edited episodes and the wildest rumors. The pivotal moment that changed everything for the Robertson family and their relationship with their public image came in 2016, when A&E announced that Duck Dynasty would end after 11 seasons. The news came as a surprise to many fans, sparking immediate speculation about the reasons behind the decision. Initial reports suggested it was a mutual decision between the network and the family. A&E framed it as the Robertsons wanting to focus on other ventures, while the family publicly expressed gratitude for their time on television while looking forward to new chapters. But as with many aspects of the show, there was more to the story than the official statements. The end of Duck Dynasty marked a transition period for Willie. While the family had numerous business ventures beyond the show, the sudden absence of camera crews and production schedules represented a significant change. After years of having much of his life documented for public consumption, Willie faced the challenge of redefining his public persona in a post-Duck Dynasty world. For viewers who had invited the Robertsons into their living rooms for nearly 5 years, the show's conclusion left questions unanswered. Had the family simply tired of the television spotlight? Were there behind-the-scenes conflicts that hastened the end? Or was it simply a business decision, as ratings, while still strong, had declined from the show's peak? The years following Duck Dynasty saw Willie step into new roles. He remained CEO of Duck Commander, but expanded his public profile through books, speaking engagements, and political advocacy. He and Corey continued to make occasional television appearances, but nothing that matched the cultural impact of their reality show. Throughout this period, Willie maintained the careful balance that had served him well during the Duck Dynasty years, authentic to his roots while embracing new opportunities. But the rumors about what really happened during the show's run persisted, fueled by occasional comments from family members or former network employees that seemed to hint at untold stories. The speculation might have continued indefinitely, if not for what happened next. In recent interviews and public appearances, Willie Robertson has begun addressing some of the long-standing questions about Duck Dynasty with a candor that surprised many longtime followers. According to several media outlets, Willie has finally decided to pull back the curtain on what really happened during the show's run. In a podcast appearance earlier this year, Willie reportedly acknowledged that there was indeed a gap between what viewers saw and what actually happened. He explained that while the family's core values and relationships were genuine, the structure of reality television necessitated certain compromises for the sake of entertainment. Every 30-minute episode represented days of filming. He was quoted as saying, "The editors had to create stories that made sense and kept people watching. That's just the reality of making television." Perhaps most significantly, Willie addressed the persistent rumors about conflicts with the network. According to transcripts from recent interviews, he confirmed that there were indeed tensions at times, particularly regarding how the family's faith would be portrayed. "We had to fight to keep prayer in the show," he reportedly said. "That wasn't something the network was initially comfortable with, but it was non-negotiable for us. It's who we are." Regarding the show's conclusion, Willie has offered more context than was provided at the time. In a recent speaking engagement, he reportedly explained that the decision to end Duck Dynasty came as the family assessed the impact of fame on their younger members and the next generation of Robertsons. "We started seeing how it was affecting the kids, how it was changing normal life experiences for them," he was quoted as saying. "At some point, you have to ask if the benefits outweigh the costs." On the financial rumors, Willie has been more circumspect, but has acknowledged that the success of the show exceeded everyone's expectations. According to business publications that have covered his recent statements, he confirmed that the merchandise and licensing deals ultimately generated more revenue than the show itself, validating his early vision of turning Duck Commander into a lifestyle brand. Perhaps most revealingly, Willie has discussed the emotional toll of living in the public eye. In a recent interview with a Christian publication, he reportedly described the challenge of having millions of people feel like they know you when they only know the version of you they see on TV. The hardest part, he was quoted as saying, was when people would attack our family based on misconceptions or things taken out of context. That never gets easier. These recent statements have provided fans with a more nuanced understanding of what went on behind the scenes of one of reality television's biggest success stories. While Willie hasn't validated every rumor that circulated during the show's run, his willingness to address them has offered closure to many longtime followers. The reaction to Willie's recent candor has been mixed but predominantly positive. Longtime fans have expressed appreciation for his honesty, with many noting that the acknowledgement of television's artifice doesn't diminish their appreciation for what the show represented. Media analysts have pointed out that Willie's timing is strategic, with enough distance from the show's conclusion to speak honestly without damaging potential future opportunities. His revelations come at a time when reality television as a genre has evolved, with audiences more aware of production techniques and less likely to believe in completely unfiltered portrayal. Former colleagues from A&E have largely remained silent about Willie's recent statements, though a few producers have reportedly validated his account of the creative tensions that existed. According to industry publications, one unnamed executive was quoted acknowledging that the network underestimated how important the faith element was to the Robertsons' appeal. The broader impact of these revelations extends beyond Duck Dynasty to conversations about authenticity in media and the ethics of reality programming. Willie's accounts have been cited in recent academic discussions about the genre, particularly regarding how families and children are affected by sustained exposure to reality television production. For the Robertson family, Willie's decision to address these long-standing rumors seems to represent a desire for a more authentic public presence moving forward. Rather than maintaining the carefully crafted image that served them during the Duck Dynasty years, there appears to be a shift toward greater transparency about the realities of fame and its effects. Industry observers have noted that Willie's approach differs significantly from many reality television stars who maintain the illusion of their on-screen personas indefinitely. By acknowledging the complications and compromises involved, he has potentially redefined his relationship with the audience that has followed him for over a decade. But here's the truth. Much of what captivated viewers about Duck Dynasty was authentic, even if the presentation was shaped by television conventions. No, the Robertsons weren't scripted actors performing entirely fictional roles. The family relationships, faith, and core values that resonated with millions of viewers were genuine aspects of their lives. What Willie has clarified is the context in which these authentic elements were presented. Yes, there was producer intervention and editorial shaping of narratives, as exists in virtually all reality programming. The reality of Duck Dynasty, like the genre name itself, was always a relative term, existing somewhere between documentary and scripted entertainment. No, the beards weren't just for show. While pre-fame photos show shorter facial hair for many family members, the distinctive look that became their trademark wasn't fabricated for television. It was an amplification of an existing aspect of the Robertson men's appearance, particularly during hunting season. Yes, there were business considerations that influenced decisions about the show's content and duration. Willie has acknowledged that commercial success was a factor in many decisions, while maintaining that family welfare ultimately took precedence. Perhaps most importantly, Willie has corrected the misconception that the family's faith was ever insincere or performed for cameras. According to multiple sources, he has been emphatic that their Christian beliefs were always genuine, even as the expression of those beliefs was sometimes negotiated with network executives. For fans trying to reconcile their perception of the show with these newer revelations, Willie has offered a framework. Appreciate Duck Dynasty for what it was: entertainment built around a real family, rather than expecting it to have been an unfiltered documentary of their lives. Today, at 70, Willie Robertson's life looks quite different than it did during the height of Duck Dynasty's popularity, yet remains connected to the values and enterprises that defined his earlier years. He continues to oversee the Duck Commander business, though day-to-day operations are increasingly handled by other family members, as Willie focuses on broader ventures. The company maintains its place in the hunting industry, with a loyal customer base that predates and outlasts the television fame. Family remains at the center of Willie's life. He and Corey celebrate over 4 decades of marriage, with their children now grown and many having families of their own. The Robertson clan has expanded significantly, with grandchildren now featuring prominently in family gatherings that, while no longer televised, continue to center around food, faith, and outdoor activities. Willie's public profile has evolved, but not diminished. He makes regular appearances as a speaker at business conferences, faith-based events, and outdoor expos. His experiences building Duck Commander and navigating fame have made him a sought-after voice on entrepreneurship, particularly for family businesses looking to scale while maintaining their core identity. Politically, Willie remains engaged but selective about his advocacy. According to recent interviews, he continues to support causes aligned with his conservative values, but expresses a preference for building bridges rather than contributing to political polarization. The Robertsons' philanthropic work has continued and expanded post-Duck Dynasty. Through their foundation, they support various causes related to adoption, foster care, and veteran services. Willie has spoken about finding this work particularly meaningful as it allows the family to use their platform for tangible good. The Louisiana property that featured prominently in the show remains in the family, though Willie reportedly divides his time between several locations these days. The warehouse where so many Duck Dynasty scenes were filmed has become something of an unofficial landmark, occasionally hosting fan events and charity fundraisers. Social media offers fans glimpses into Willie's current life, though with significantly more privacy than during the show's run. Family celebrations, business milestones, and outdoor adventures are shared selectively, maintaining a connection with supporters while preserving personal boundaries. When asked in recent interviews about his reflections on fame, Willie reportedly expresses neither regret nor nostalgia, but rather gratitude for the platform and perspective the experience provided. According to those close to him, he views Duck Dynasty as an important chapter in his family's story, rather than its defining feature. What's perhaps most remarkable about Willie Robertson's journey is not how much has changed, but how much has remained consistent. From the small shed where his father crafted the first Duck Commander calls to international fame, and back to a more private life, the core elements, family, faith, entrepreneurship, and a connection to the outdoors, have remained constants. When we look at Willie Robertson's life trajectory, what emerges is a story about authenticity in an industry that often rewards pretense. The entrepreneurial spirit evident in the young boy watching his father perfect duck calls became the driving force behind a business empire. The family values instilled by Phil and Kay provided a foundation that helped the Robertsons navigate fame without losing themselves entirely. Duck Dynasty, for all its entertainment value and occasional artifice, captured something real about American life that resonated across geographic and cultural divides. It presented a vision of family that was imperfect yet functional, traditional yet adaptable. In Willie's capable hands, this vision became not just a television show, but a brand that represented a lifestyle many viewers either recognized or aspired to. The show's unprecedented success raises interesting questions about what audiences are truly seeking in entertainment. Was it the humor and personalities that drew viewers, or was it the increasingly rare portrayal of a family anchored by shared faith and values? Did Duck Dynasty's popularity reflect a hunger for authenticity in media? even if that authenticity was packaged in a format with inherent limitations? Whatever the answer, Willie's willingness to now address the reality behind the reality show demonstrates the same business savvy that built the Duck Commander brand. By acknowledging the complexities and occasional contradictions involved in creating Duck Dynasty, he offers a more complete picture while preserving the elements that made the show meaningful to millions. Perhaps the most valuable lesson from Willie's journey is about balancing opportunity with integrity. Throughout the Duck Dynasty phenomenon, he navigated the demands of television production while maintaining boundaries around what mattered most to his family. When those boundaries were threatened, as he has now confirmed they occasionally were, difficult decisions were made that prioritized family welfare over continued fame or profit. In an era where reality television has become increasingly manufactured and the line between public and private lives increasingly blurred, doesn't Willie's candor offer a refreshing counterpoint? A recognition that entertainment can be both authentic and constructed, meaningful and commercial, revealing and protective, all at once. If Willie Robertson or this story meant something to you, tell me one memory below. The moment you won't forget. Was it a family dinner scene that reminded you of your own gatherings? A piece of Willie's business wisdom that resonated with your own experience? Or simply a moment of laughter that came when you needed it most? Be kind, be specific, and take care of each other.